Wanda Burr is suing her neighbor, Juanita Gracia, for the cost to fix her car and for vandalism to her home. Wanda says the culprit is Juanita's son, 14-year-old Alberto Lopez.
You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat, please.
Oh, no.
Gentlemen, stand up, please. No, you sit.
Sit down. All right, Miss Burr, this is your son. Miss Garcia, this is your son. Neither of you were present on the day that Miss Garcia's son was in the driver's seat of your car and caused damage to it. That's correct. And that's what this lawsuit is about. You believe that Miss Garcia is responsible for her son's actions and should pay for the damage to your car. Miss Garcia says that it wasn't her son's fault, that your son was there the whole time, and if you want to hold somebody responsible, you should hold your son responsible. Right? Right. Okay. What's your first name?
Casey McDavid.
I want you to keep the voice up. Are you frightened here today?
No, ma'am.
You're a little nervous?
No, ma'am.
I'm going to change that. On what day were you in your mother's car?
He was not in the vehicle, Your Honor.
Where were you?
Me and my friends were on the computer, and I went to the bathroom. I came out. He took the keys off my door, and I seen the car go past the window, and I went out, and I seen him hit the tree.
You saw him.
I seen him get in my car.
Where were the keys?
They were on the door.
Of what room?
Of the front door.
And where's your computer?
In the living room.
The computer's next to the front. Sorry.
Were you there?
No, ma'am.
Keep your mouth closed. So you were on the computer in the living room?
Yes, ma'am.
And where were your friends?
They were on the computer with me.
How many friends?
3.
Who are they?
Alberto, Brandon, and Dwayne.
What's Brandon's last name?
I don't know.
What's Dwayne's last name? Is he still your friend?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
I haven't talked to him
Since when?
since the accident.
And what about Brandon? Have you spoken to him?
No, ma'am.
Why haven't you spoken to them since the accident? Casey.
Ever since the accident, I just lost touch.
Why? They were in the room with you on the computer, right?
Right.
They weren't near the car, so why would you stop being their friend?
I just haven't talked to him in a while.
Okay, now let me hear your version of what happened.
Me, Brendan, and Dwayne were sitting on the living room couch. I was next to Casey looking on the computer with him. Me and Brendan discussed getting in the car and listening to the music, and the keys were on the desk of the computer, not hanging. I took the keys in front of Casey. He didn't say anything. Me and Brendan went into the car, started the car.
Brendan, too?
Brendan was in the car. We started the car and started listening to music. I switched gears in the car in reverse. Casey came out and just stood there and watched us.
Casey came out?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did he say to you?
I don't know if he said anything, but he just stood there watching us. And I backed the car, and I guess...
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. He's taken the car out before. It's not like it was the first time he's done it.
He didn't do anything.
Well, that we've done it, he's let us drive before. And I started backing up the car. I was gonna go anywhere. And then Brendan got scared and opened the passenger door and jumped out. And that's when the door hit the tree. I stopped the car and moved it back forward. And we noticed the damages to the car.
Alberto, so whose fault is this?
Mine.
Perfect. Why didn't you convince your mother of that?
When his mother found out, we all discussed together that we would each take responsibility for it.
Who's each?
Me, Brendan, and Casey. Because
Well,
it was,
it's not, just a second. Not Casey's fault. You took the keys. You didn't have permission to take the keys. Brandon, maybe. He was with you, but he didn't drive it. You did. Why is it anybody else's fault but yours?
They didn't stop me.
So let's say you're walking down the street with your mother, and you see somebody that you went to school with that you don't like, and you walk past them, and you say to your mother, I'm going to punch him in the face. You walk past him, you punch him in the face. His fault?
No, ma'am.
Why? She didn't stop you. She didn't stop you. You get it?
Yes, ma'am.
You have anything to say to me, Miss Garcia?
Yeah. The reason I felt that it wasn't all his fault was because all 3 parties were involved. Casey is older than my child. The key was in his house.
Just a second. How much older is he?
2 years older than him.
So what?
No, but he had possession of the keys.
No, he didn't. He didn't have possession of the keys.
They've done
If
this.
he had the keys in his pocket.
No, Judge.
Hey, listen to me. If he had the keys in his pocket, and he took the keys out of his pocket and handed them to your son, Then he had control of the keys. Your son didn't ask permission. It's like he stole the keys. And what he's saying is, well, nobody stopped me. I mean, you mean if he walked out with the silver and nobody stopped him, he could have the silver? If you saw the family jewels and he said, I'm going to take those. And he said, well, I took them, but nobody stopped me. So why can't I have those? He stole the keys and he went outside. And he was in the car already.
Yes, sir.
All right. How much damage did you have to your car?
I also have another incident, Your Honor, where my new truck was keyed, and I saw Alberto running from my carport that evening, and I have a police report on it as well. And there have been other instances. Burnt screens, lawn bags that I've bagged up have been scattered over my yard the next morning. Graffiti on the side of my house.
Listen to me, Mr. Garcia. What do you want to say? It wasn't you, right?
The police report didn't even say that. When we was there with the cops, she said that her daughter came out of the house and said that she may have saw the back of my head.
Listen to me, sir. What I'm going to say to you is, only you and I know whether or not you were involved in any of these shenanigans that's taken place in the Burr home since this incident. Unfortunately, Miss Burr knows that she has insufficient proof of what's been going on, this little vandalism and prank stuff, because I'm sure that Brandon is involved, which is why he doesn't see him anymore. I don't know about Dwayne. Dwayne was in the house. Why don't you see him anymore?
I don't know.
So you didn't tell me the whole story. You didn't tell your mother the whole story. He didn't tell you the whole story, Miss Burr. Not the whole story, but he's not responsible. You are. And if you've been fooling around with Miss Burr's property, it better stop. Because now 10 million people know that you are potentially a suspect. So there are going to be lots of eyes on you, including the police. Do we understand each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. What's the estimate to fix your car?
One is for $1,608, the other one's for $1,733, and the third one, $1,840.
Can I see pictures of the car, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's not $3,000, $1,608. Where did you learn your math?
Also for the keying of my truck.
I already told you that you have no proof of that.
Okay.
He did it. You weren't paying attention. Oh, you're lucky that this damage is only $1,608, that she can have it fixed for that. That's pretty nasty damage, sir. How old are you?
14?
Ever been in any trouble before?
No, ma'am.
Great. Don't get into trouble again. Your mother looks like a very nice lady. She doesn't need trouble from you.
No, she doesn't.
Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $1,608. Thank you.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Patricia Hayward is suing her niece, Patricia Green, for unpaid rent, late fees, and utility bills. The defendant says she couldn't afford to pay.
Miss Hayward, this is your niece.
Yes.
Is it your sister's daughter?
No, this is my ex-husband's niece.
How long have you known her?
I've known her since 1973.
According to your complaint, your niece has had some difficulty in the past, but you allowed her to move in with you because she needed a place to stay.
Correct.
The agreement was that she pay rent. How much rent were you supposed to pay?
$500.
$500 a month. And what did that include, Miss Green?
It just said for rent. I have the rental agreement.
Can I see it, please? You agreed to pay my rent on the 3rd of each month. This is the rental agreement you gave me, right? It doesn't say what amount you're going to pay. How could you do a rental agreement without the amount of rent?
She didn't write it down. This is what she gave me.
This is what you signed. Do you have another renter's agreement?
This is it.
People really need a form for rental agreements. I should really do that. It would help people. She wrote the $500 in afterwards. You wrote the $500
We
in
wrote
afterwards?
the 5 in after she signed it. We were both sitting there, and we said, oh, she's the one that brought up,
Listen
Trisha's
to
the one
me.
that brought up.
Her copy doesn't have 500.
I know. I
All
do
right,
know that.
Fine. So let's say we all
Okay.
agree it's
Okay,
$500 a month rent. This is what it's about. She moved out. She didn't pay you rent. You want the rent. You threw her out because she stopped paying rent. So you want her to pay rent and utilities. Forget utilities because your agreement doesn't provide for utilities. $500 a month rent. Did you pay rent each month that you were there?
Yes, I did.
When did you move in?
September of '06.
When did you move out?
February 1st of '08.
Why?
Because I was locked out.
You were locked out because you didn't do what?
I got laid off and wasn't able to come up with the rent
Well, so then the answer is you didn't pay rent.
for the last month,
Which month?
November. Well, I paid in November and December. I didn't pay.
You didn't pay in December and you didn't pay in January.
Correct.
So that's 2 months you
But
didn't pay.
I was making payments on it while I didn't have a job. I paid $300 out of my last check, and I sold my belongings and got money to pay for that, and I cleaned the restroom. I mean, I was trying to pay it off.
Clean the restroom. I'm just asking you, the last rent that you paid, you say, was in November?
Yes, but it was $500. So really, I only owed 1 month.
Well, that's what you're supposed to pay, $500. If you paid $500 in November, then you owe December and January. And you were kicked out February 1st.
I paid all November.
I understand that, but you didn't pay December, which is a whole month.
Right.
And January, which is a whole month.
Correct. But
So
I
then-
paid for December then. I was making payments.
When did she make her last rent payment to you?
She didn't pay December, January, and she left in February.
So 2 months?
Yes.
That's what you want?
Yes.
Well, that's what it appears she didn't pay. So you lost your job.
Yeah.
And that's why you didn't pay.
Correct.
Do you have a job now?
Yes, I do.
Great. You owe her $1,000.
Fine.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000.
Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Your
That's
Honor.
all.
Crystal Garcia claims ex-boyfriend Terrell Johnson owes for rent, the down payment on a truck, and for filing false charges of domestic abuse.
All right, you got more complaints against him than I probably have time for today, so we're going to see if we can get through each of the against Mr. Johnson, who used to be your boyfriend. Now you claim he owes you for a deposit that you put down on a truck for him, $2,500,
Yes.
that he lived sort of as a freeloader,
Yes.
but there was an understanding that when you got laid off from your teaching position for the summer, he would pay the rent for the summer,
Yes.
and he didn't.
No.
And then you claim that he filed false charges against you for assault, causing you to spend the night in jail and $1,000 bail.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson says the truck was his.
Yes.
He made the payments on it.
Yes.
He says that the charges he made against you to the police were absolutely true. You did, in fact, assault him.
I got a police report too, Your Honor.
And as far as the rent is concerned, he never promised to pay the rent for the summer. As a matter of fact, he wasn't even living with you in August.
She kicked me out.
I would kick you out if you send me to jail for domestic violence.
Don't speak to him. That's why you're here.
Okay.
All right, Miss Garcia, when did Mr. Johnson move in with you?
Late September of 2006.
What was the financial arrangement?
Well, he didn't have a stable job, and, you know, I did. So I told him, I said, once you get back on your feet, you know, and I'd always, through the months, tell you need to get a better job. You need to get a better job. You need to help me. You need to,
All right, so you need
know.
to help me. You need to get a better job. I don't
Yes.
hear a financial arrangement.
Well, I
Ms.
told him, I
Garcia.
said, coming June, because we are laid off for the summer, I said, you need to pay June, July, August. I told him that, because he would have a job by then. I mean, you would think in 7, 8 months he would
All
have
right,
a better
so
job.
right now you have no financial arrangement with him with regard to rent.
Yes, I did. I told him.
No, you didn't.
I told him that he was responsible for June, July, and
I don't care what you
August.
told him. That's not a contract.
He didn't want to write one. He didn't want to write one because he
That's
doesn't
not,
want to
you
sign
don't have to write
anything.
one.
He
You
didn't
don't
want to
have-
sign it.
Listen to me. You don't have to write one. You have to agree. Just because you told him doesn't
He
make
agreed.
it so.
He agreed.
He moved out.
No, he moved out at the end of July,
She kicked me out.
and I told him he was responsible from June to August.
Okay, good.
And
That's
he
what you
said,
told him. All
I
right.
agree, and
Let
I
me
will
hear
help
about
you.
the truck, please.
The truck, the only reason we got the truck was because I was my credit. I'm the main purchaser on it. I have receipts that I paid it.
Show me proof, please, that you put the down payment on the truck.
Well, I have my income taxes stating how much I got, and these are all my pay stubs that I've been working.
I want proof that you put down on the truck $2,500. That's not proof of anything.
They're in the papers that he has in the truck.
Good. Mr. Johnson, look at me. Who put down the down payment?
We both did.
No, he did.
Both did from what? Don't speak.
From a paycheck that I got and her income taxes.
How much did she put in?
Like 2,000,
And how much did you put in?
like 300,
How much was put down altogether?
25.
Mr. Johnson, let's not play with me, please. Don't be irritating. I get irritated very easily. The older I get, the shorter the fuse I have, sir. So she put down the down payment of $2,500.
Put down most of it.
She put down the whole down payment of $2,500. Get over. Now, who made the payments on the truck?
We both did, but I made most of them.
Show me.
I don't.
What do you mean you don't?
I mean, I don't got no receipts.
You don't have any receipts. Show me proof that you made the payments on the truck. When did you get the truck? September of '06?
No, we got it in February.
Of '07?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much were the payments each month?
$388.
Good. Now, what are you showing me there?
A printout from the loan place showing that I paid the truck and what
She wasn't
days.
even working at the time.
Listen to me. Does that say you paid for the truck, or
Yes,
does that say somebody paid for the truck?
It says Crystal Garcia.
No. Listen to me very carefully. Is that the loan itself that indicates the loan is in your name?
Yes.
and that the payments were made.
Yes.
I'm not interested in that. I want to see proof from your bank. $88 came out.
We would go personally to the place because we cannot open a bank account, or we couldn't open a bank account because he has bad bank problems or something. So I didn't have direct deposit for it to come out of my bank account. So I would personally go and pay them cash.
Listen to me. If you think that I believe that story that you just told me, I don't. Show me from your bank that you took out money every month to pay this $388. Not that the loan was paid, but that you took out the money from your bank for.
Okay, the only way I would be able to pay
April,
that or
May.
prove that to you is by you looking over my pay stubs, because I made enough money.
I'm not looking over your pay stubs.
Direct deposit. That's the only way I could have got the money from the bank. That's the only way.
Perfect. I'm not accepting that.
Well, I'm not here to ask for the payments for the truck. All I want is a deposit so I can go ahead and have my son and me driving the truck. I don't want the payments.
Fine. You're entitled to your deposit back.
Yes. That's all I want from him.
Fine.
And the money.
Fine. You're entitled to your deposit back. That I believe that you put in. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
She gets her deposit back. You have the truck?
Yes.
You're driving the truck?
Yes.
Are you paying for it?
Yes.
Are your payments current?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Shh. If she shows me that your payments are not current on this truck, I'm going to wipe up the floor with you.
I paid the last payment last month. I didn't know I should have brought a receipt. I guess she has all the receipts.
I didn't ask you whether you paid last month. I said, are your payments current?
Yes, they are.
So you've made all your payments?
Yes.
Since when?
Since like 3-4 months ago.
Was it 3 months ago or 4?
4.
4. Good. Show me.
He was late, and here are the...
She wasn't even working at the time to even be paying the bills on the truck.
Listen to me. You
I
said
was.
you made the last 4 payments, correct?
Correct.
He paid like $300, and then he was late $88.
If you shout out again, I'm throwing you out of here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, now tell me about these false charges that you're charging him with.
Okay. 3 days prior to that day that I was arrested, he was not so nice, and of course I have to look out for my son, so I left. I left and I stayed with my mom. And he was drinking. He would go to my mom demanding the keys, making a big scene.
Demanding the keys to what?
To the truck.
You took the truck.
Yeah, because I wasn't gonna let him drive it while he was drinking.
But you didn't have a driver's license.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you
Just a
didn't.
minute. You have a driver's license now?
Yes.
It says here in the police report that she don't got a driver's license.
I'd like to see the police report.
And he's like, I'm gonna go pick up my clothes from the truck. I said, okay, that's fine. So he comes in like, we don't have no problems. He's trying to sweet talk me, for me to still be with him. And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't need this for me and my son. I don't need you to be drinking, yelling obscenities to me, calling me names. I don't need that. So I do not want to be with you. And then he demanded, you know what? I want the keys to the truck. And I said, no, you know what I mean? I said, no. And I told him, go get your stuff. So we were right outside my door, and he snatched the keys right out of my hands.
Can I say something?
And I was like, you know what? I was like, why you do that? So right when he grabbed the keys from my hands, I held onto his shirt because my baby's car seat.
You were choking me.
My property was in there, and that's everything that I have earned, and I'm not going to let somebody go and take it away. So who knows what he's going to do with it? I don't know what he's going to do with it. So the only way at that time for me to protect my and my son's stuff was to hold on. That's it.
Ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Well, the police indicate he was injured.
Where are the pictures you were injured?
The police indicate on the police report where he had scratches on his shoulder.
Those are called
And
stretch
his-
marks,
and
not
his-
scratches.
Excuse me?
Stretch marks.
Scratches.
Scratches.
She was strangling me.
I was not.
No,
That's why she got arrested. She's crazy.
That part of your complaint, Ms. Garcia, where you're asking for compensation for falsely reporting that you assaulted him, that's denied. You're entitled to your truck money back, period. And once you get your truck money back...
If it was work for the DA to pick up, they would have picked it up, and that would have been... They wouldn't have rejected the case how they did. There was no case
Because I didn't press
on
no
him to
charges.
me.
I didn't press no charges.
If I hurt you so bad, why didn't you push charges on me?
Ms. Garcia,
It's not even worth it.
now I'm responding to you. Your case is dismissed. It's over for everything except the $2,500 that you put as a down payment for a truck that he now has. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Amanda Peters claims ex-roommate Holly Ward owes for breaking an apartment lease, stealing money from her wallet, and for damaging her car.
Ms. Peters, you and Ms. Ward were roommates. It is your claim that after a failed road trip that didn't work out as well as you expected, Ms. Ward decided to stay home.
Yes.
And she left you in the lurch with the lease. You want her to pay the rent. In addition, you say that she stole some money from you and that she at some point damaged your car. You want her to pay for that.
Yes.
Ms. Ward says she was pregnant, decided to stay home with her parents, I assume, that she denies taking any of your money, and she says that the damage to the car just didn't happen. She also says that your boyfriend moved in with you into the apartment and he wasn't paying his fair share of the rent. So, is this your boyfriend?
Yes.
How many people signed the lease to the apartment?
2, me and Holly.
Did Holly have a boyfriend living with her?
No.
But your boyfriend was living with you?
He wasn't living there. He was.
Yeah, he is.
yes,
he lives
he
there.
was.
He lives there. Don't tell me he wasn't living there. He lives there.
Okay.
Don't speak unless I speak to you. You want me to get the address that you listed, sir, when you filled out the forms for this program?
Yes.
Do you want me to get the forms that you filled out with the
Yes.
address?
I put 718.
And who lives there?
My mother,
What's your mother's phone number?
she doesn't have a phone.
Oh, everybody has a phone,
But
sir.
there's a number you could reach her at, but
Every-
she don't have a phone herself.
You get what I'm saying to you, madam?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. When did you sign this lease with the defendant?
On December 1st, 2006,
And when did you take this road trip?
in the beginning of April, like April.
April 15th
Where's the father of this baby that you're having?
in Ohio,
And where are you living now?
Alabama.
Who went on the road trip?
The 3 of us.
Whose car did you use?
Amanda's.
You got stopped and you were all arrested for drug possession, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What happened with your case?
I had 2 years probation.
What about you?
I just got charged as a misdemeanor and got fined. She got charged with all that because she was pregnant.
I got charged
Doing
with a
drugs while
misdemeanor
she
and got
was
a
pregnant.
We all 3 got, well, me and Amanda got charged with possession too.
And what about you?
I did 31 days because wouldn't nobody sign for me.
No, he got 30 days because he had prior possessions.
No, I got 30 days. That is untrue, Your Honor.
Now, what is the rent?
It's $500 a month.
Stand up. Your last name?
Lucky, L-U-C-K-E-Y.
I'm not so sure.
I heard that.
Who do you work for?
I work for Ford.
What do you do for them?
We call offices.
What kind of work do you do, Miss Peters?
I'm a waitress.
Fine. Mr. Lucky,
Yes.
you may have to kick in for some rent, sir. Do you understand?
I wasn't standing there at the time.
Well, now
Yes,
I'm.
he was.
Now, just a second.
No, I wasn't.
Just a second. Now you can stay there.
Well, she shouldn't have signed
Lucky.
my lease.
Mr. Lucky, when did you arrive from Ohio?
We arrived Tuesday.
24th.
the 20
You arrived Tuesday.
Yesterday.
Shh.
Yes.
And where are you staying?
I'm staying at the Sheraton Hotel.
And where are you staying, Miss Peters?
At the Sheraton Hotel.
In the same room?
Yes.
And when you go back to Ohio, you're going to go back and stay with your mother. Is that what you're telling me?
And yes,
I'm
after
giving you
this case
permission. You
left.
could stay with Miss Peters.
I didn't
And now
want to
you're
stay
going to
with
pay.
her because
And now
of
you're
this
going to
issue.
pay the rent. Sit down. Who brought the marijuana into the car?
All 3 of us did.
That wasn't mine.
No.
All
Holly
3 of
did.
us did. All 3
Holly
of us
did.
did. We all 3 went to jail for the possession.
It's not what I asked you. I said, who brought it into the car?
Holly.
Holly.
Lucky. I didn't. Lucky sells marijuana.
Okay.
That's
No,
his
no,
job
that's
prior
a lie.
to
Not
2
true.
months before. He didn't have this job now.
That's a lie. She
Now,
made that up.
shh. Now, when is your baby due?
I already had him.
You already
June
had your baby.
29th, yes.
And who's taking care of your baby now?
My mother.
Baby healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Weren't stupid enough to smoke marijuana while you were pregnant,
Actually, I
were
was.
you? Yeah.
That's how she got 2 years.
That's,
Was drinking and a whole bunch of other stuff she
I
did
didn't
while she
drink
was
with my
pregnant.
baby. My baby was perfectly
Yes, you
healthy,
did.
born 4 weeks early, didn't need anything. 6 pounds, 8 ounces.
great. Okay. So now, Miss Peters,
Yes.
now you have your boyfriend living with you. How big is this apartment, by the way?
It's a 2-bedroom apartment.
Well, Your Honor, at first, when I first moved in with Amanda, it was in March of 2005. Lucky moved in June of 2005. We were all living in a 1-bedroom apartment. Then his cousin moved in, Lewis, with his baby mama, Shataya. We all 5 lived there. I still paid half the rent.
Just
They
a
didn't pay
second.
nothing.
No.
Just a second. How long?
And
Quiet.
his cousin got a job at our job.
Just a second. How long did his cousin and his
They lived
baby
there.
mama live there.
They lived there from
What?
from October till December when we got our 2-bedroom and they got their 1-bedroom apartment.
What's your cousin's name?
My cousin's name is Louis, and he was not living there.
Yes, he was, Your Honor.
Listen,
Okay,
I am
he'll
very,
manage
very
that
unhappy
later.
about
Yeah.
this whole situation. All I can tell you, Miss Peters, is now you can have your boyfriend full-time. Your boyfriend of 6 years full-time. He's going to live with you and he's going to pay the rent. You get nothing from her. Next.
What?
Now, let's talk about this stolen money. You say that she stole money from you.
Yes.
You
No,
know
from
this.
her and her
Shh,
boyfriend.
I don't want to hear you.
Okay.
I'm not happy with you either. Anyone who smokes dope while they're pregnant is an idiot. Now, tell me about this alleged money.
All right. I gave my boyfriend $300 to put up for me. I was going to put my car in the shop and have some work done to it. Well, I picked him up one night. He was going to come spend the night with me. The wallet came up missing that night while he was at the house. Yeah, I went to drop him off the next morning, and the wallet wasn't there.
And
He said it was Holly all along. I mean, I really didn't think it was at first, but I found the wallet in her room when I was cleaning it out after she left.
Where's the wallet?
It's right here.
Let me see it.
Can I?
Shh.
Okay.
When, for the first time, did you tell Holly about the missing wallet?
I didn't tell her.
You didn't tell her?
No, she was in Alabama when I found it.
You didn't call her?
No.
No, I'm not saying when you found it. Listen to me. Miss Peters, when the wallet came up missing, she had to have been there. Otherwise, how could she
Yeah.
get it? Not from Ohio to Alabama.
No,
she has
it
that
was
very
months
long
ago.
arms. Now, so when did you first discuss with her the fact that this wallet was missing?
Oh, it was around the time when we moved into our 2-bedroom apartment. So
And
around
how long did you
December.
live in the 2-bedroom apartment?
I'm still there now. So from December until now.
How long did she live there?
Until April 15th.
So the wallet came up missing in December.
Yes.
And you found it when?
When I came back May 9th or 8th, I mean.
Yeah, do me a favor. Return that to her. Tell me about the damaged car.
She damaged my car, parallel parking it.
When?
In November, the first week of
November
November.
of 06?
Yes, ma'am.
Show me the bill where you had it fixed.
I haven't gotten it fixed yet. I haven't had the money. But I have an estimate from where we both took it in. She came with me when I
No.
got the estimate.
Oh, well, tell me how it happened.
Oh, she parallel.
I didn't ask
He
you.
was in the car. I wasn't in the car. She asked to borrow my car one day, and she brought it back with these scratches on the front bumper.
Let
he
me
was
see
in
the
car.
pictures of the front bumper. How did you scratch the bumper?
I didn't scratch the front of her car.
Who did?
Lucky. He was on his way to school in November, and at a red light, he
That's
hit
a
the
lie.
back of another car.
I have a picture of
That's
the
a
truck that
lie.
she hit also with the dent in the bumper
Just a
where
second.
she
She
hit
says
it.
it was Lucky.
That's
It
a lie,
wasn't.
Your Honor.
She went with me when I got the statement.
I did not go with her. I was at work when she got that statement done with Lucky.
She had borrowed Amanda's car, and I needed to go home that following morning.
He was
and
living
she
with
had,
us. Why would I take him home?
don't want you to interrupt. If you interrupt again, it's not going to be good for you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So on the way taking me home to my mother's house, she was trying to parallel park in front of another car, and she hit the back.
On the way, she was trying to parallel park?
No, when we got to my mother's house.
Why park if she was just dropping you off?
Because she was parking to drop me off.
Why was she parking to drop you off? Why didn't she just come?
She was the driver.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Goodbye. You all deserve each other. That's it. Case is dismissed. Take him outside for a kid.
Julie and David Cotton are suing family friend, 18-year-old Dylan Strittmatter, for crashing a golf cart during their wedding reception. Dylan claims he is not guilty.
Who was getting married?
Julie and I.
According to your complaint, Miss Cotton, your family lives on the river.
Correct.
Is that where the wedding was?
Yes.
The defendant is the son of an old family friend, and because there was so much land and the venue was spread out, you rented 2 golf carts to sort of help people get from one place to another, especially people who might have been a little older. Those golf carts were just rented for the event. It is your claim that the defendant, without permission, drove one of those golf carts and damaged it. You're being charged by the rental company for the damage to the golf cart, and you want him to pay for it.
Correct.
Who saw Mr. Strittmatter riding the golf cart?
Tristan Hall.
How old are you, Mr. Hall?
18.
What do you know about Mr. Strittmatter and the golf cart?
Well, I was the guy in charge of taking people to and from the parking to the wedding,
and we were at the reception.
At the golf cart, with
Right.
a golf cart.
Right. And after the wedding, we went to the reception, and we had the 2 golf carts parked over there. And we were all sitting around eating, and I saw them take off in the golf cart, and we just went out. I went out there after them to see what.
Saw who taking off?
Dylan and Greg.
That's Dylan would be you?
Yes.
And who's Greg?
I'm Greg.
Perfect, I love it. No, I didn't ask you to go over there yet.
Well,
I didn't ask you to go over there yet.
Okay. That is a lot.
I didn't go over. Go ahead.
Okay, so I went out there, and we were just riding. We were riding around for a little while.
Who was riding around?
Me, Dylan, and Greg.
How did you get on the golf cart?
Because I went out there. When I saw him riding around, I walked out there.
So you walked outside, and the 3 of you got on the golf cart.
Right. Well, they were on it first. I went out there. After they were already on it, I went out there.
Who drove?
They were driving. We all took turns driving.
Who drove first?
Tristan drove first, but there's also a 4th person in the party. Their son Chase was also in the golf cart, and he also drove it with us.
Is that right?
Chase was in the golf cart, yes.
So who drove first?
I guess I drove first.
Who drove second?
Chase drove second.
Who drove third?
I drove third.
All right, what happened next?
Okay, so we're driving around, and we were just driving around with the golf cart, and after a little while, I said, okay, we should probably bring this back. So we were on our way back down this road, and that's whenever he thought he could make it through these 2 rocks, if that's what you want to call them. They were more like boulders, and then he just ran into one of them.
Now, did you know you weren't supposed to be driving around in that golf cart at that time?
In the back of my mind, I did.
And did you know you weren't supposed to be Hey, did you look at me? Did you know you weren't supposed to be driving around in the golf cart at that time?
Yes, I knew that.
Did you know you weren't supposed to be driving around at that time? And I assume he wasn't supposed to be driving around that time.
That's correct.
So what are you suing him for?
Because he had been drinking at the wedding at my mom's, and I had told him to put it down, and I saw them take off, but mind you, I'm in the middle of my reception, and I heard them, and so did my friends, hear them screaming, come on, let's go get on the golf cart. It was just those 2, and they were drunk at our wedding. They did take it. The owner of the...
Your son was there. How old is he?
13.
What'd you do to him?
Actually, both of my sons had told them, and so had Tristan, to stop, and he
They
was
were
driving
driving
erratically.
around in the golf cart.
Well, a little more than driving. He was driving erratically.
Just a second. Where do you think it's all his responsibility?
Because he was told to put it back, and he didn't.
Who told him to put it back?
All of them.
They did not. They were driving around with it. They did not tell him to put it back. What are you, nuts? Listen, Miss Cotton.
Yes.
If you're telling me that you saw them get in the golf cart and drive around with it, and you didn't leave your reception to go and stop them from driving around with it.
My oldest son actually did.
He's not here. You, not your son. Your 13-year-old was in the golf cart.
Right, but my oldest son also took the keys from them.
Did you see that?
No, but they all told me, and
I
the owner
can't
of the
tell
golf
you anything,
cart.
Miss Cotton. You have a responsibility. A golf cart is an attractive nuisance. That's what it is for young people. That's why your 13-year-old got in the
Well,
golf
I mean,
cart.
he admitted to wrecking it and told us he was sorry.
They were
and
all involved in it. If anything, he's responsible for a quarter of it, not for the whole thing. Your son is responsible. Therefore, you're responsible
My
for a
son
quarter.
is 13.
He's responsible for a quarter. He's responsible for a quarter. He's not responsible for the whole damage to the golf cart. They shouldn't have been in the golf cart to begin with. And if you saw them and you're the grown-up, you should have seen to it that they weren't in the golf cart.
Can I say something?
Listen, if you knew he was drinking, what's the drinking age where you are anyway?
21.
If he got hurt and he had been drinking at your wedding, he would have owned that house on the river.
I can't control him. He's not my child.
Oh, yes, you can. You can put him out of your house.
He wasn't at our house. It was an open field. We weren't there. He went off in a different area.
Miss Cotton, it's your responsibility when you have an event to ensure that there is no underage drinking. And based upon what you tell me, you saw him drinking and drunk at your wedding. You then saw him get into a golf cart and drive away. And it was your reception, and you couldn't do anything about it because you didn't want to leave the reception. That's what you told me.
I didn't see him get in. I heard them say they were going to do it and take off, and people were
Miss
sent
Cotton, I'm
after
getting
them.
less and less sympathy for you. I mean, that doesn't give him any right to do that. And he's going to pay for 1/4 of the damage. But I have less and less sympathy for you. You planned a wedding, and you had a bunch of kids, including these 2 people, not only the defendant, who were drinking at your wedding. And that's your responsibility. You are responsible for the venue. That's what the law says. And if they had gotten into a car instead of a golf cart, and instead of going between a boulder and scratching your golf cart, which is what he did, he got into his car and he killed somebody, you know who they come after? You. That's what the law says.
I didn't serve him the alcohol, and he stole
You
it.
did serve him alcohol.
I did.
Duh.
Actually, we didn't serve him the alcohol.
You did serve him alcohol.
Well, I mean, it's in a bar area. Anybody can walk to the bar and get it.
He didn't get it from the bar. He did go and take
Did you get it from the bar?
Actually, there was a fountain outside the wedding reception that had
Right.
wine, and there's a cup there and cups, and you could just go in and pour yourself some.
And did you not look at me and I told
Just a
you to put
second.
it down?
Just a second.
Oh,
Is
yes,
that what
you
you're
did,
telling me?
Ellen.
Then what you do is when you have children and you have open alcohol, you ensure that the children who are there don't drink the alcohol.
Well,
Oh, Miss Cotton, you're going to talk to me. You, me. Maybe you're used to getting the last word. I'm trying to tell you, 16 years of education and 30 years in the judicial system, it's your responsibility to ensure no underage drinking at your venue. Do you understand?
Yeah.
How much is it going to cost to fix this golf cart?
$1,119.35.
Your responsibility is $279, young man. Do you understand?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $279, only because you have to accept a certain amount of responsibility. Think that's reasonable? Sure. Good. That's all.
Laura Howlett is suing her ex-boyfriend, William Lloyd, for a loan to pay his taxes. William claims the money was actually a gift.
How old are you, Mr. Lloyd?
38.
What kind of work do you do?
I drive a truck.
How long have you been doing that for a living?
7 years.
Before that, what did you do?
Mechanic, auto mechanic.
Always make a living?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any family?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you have?
2 sons,
How old are they?
18 and 16.
Have you supported them over the years?
Yes, ma'am.
They don't live with you.
No, ma'am.
Pay your taxes?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, this particular occasion, you owe the IRS some money,
Yes, ma'am.
which means at some point you didn't pay all the taxes you were supposed to pay.
Somehow, during my W-2s, my dependents got messed up. That's why I owe taxes.
Well, your dependents didn't get messed up. You've always had only 2 sons, right? They weren't messed up.
No, ma'am. Talk about on the regular taxes you fill at the beginning of the year. I had more dependents on it than what I should have. That's why I owe taxes.
Well, when you had more dependents, where did you get them from?
Ma'am, I only have 2 children.
Right. So how could you have more dependents?
I filled out the paper wrong for my taxes.
Fine. And whose problem was that?
That was mine.
And whose mistake was that?
That was mine.
Whose bad was that?
That was my bad.
Now, Miss Howlett, this is your case.
Yes,
This used to be your boyfriend.
Yes.
And he had this debt to the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
You paid the debt according to the IRS for him.
I did.
And you want him to pay you back. And Mr. Lloyd says it was very nice of you to pay that debt, but it was a gift. You took that upon yourself, and he has no intention of paying you back.
Not at all. No.
So, how long did you know him before you paid this debt?
We started dating in May 2006, and I paid the debt August 24th, 06.
You a working lady?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a dispatcher.
Trucks?
Yes, for a petroleum company.
Is that the trucking company he works for?
No.
No, ma'am.
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
Do you ever watch this program?
I do.
When you watch this program and you see women standing in the position that you're in,
I know.
and you say to yourself, how could they be so stupid? What did they see in him? Why would they want to take their hard-earned money and give it to that piece of nothing? I would never do anything so stupid. Didn't you say that to yourself?
I did, and I'd say it to myself now about myself.
So tell me how it came about.
We started dating May 06. We got serious pretty quick. I discussed with him moving in with me when his lease was up September 15th.
Okay.
Yes. He kept getting the bill from the IRS that he had made a payment plan.
He made a payment plan with the IRS?
With the IRS, yes.
What was your payment plan with the IRS?
$100 a month.
That sounds great, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened?
I was making $100 payments a month.
And were you living together at the time?
By the second payment, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And she saw you making this $100 payment.
Yes, ma'am. When I would go over to her house, I would give her $100 cash.
So you would give her $100 in cash?
Yes, ma'am. And then she would pay it over the computer. Just simpler than send it by.
To the IRS?
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
good. Go ahead.
And then the third payment, of which we're here for now, for I don't know why, she was on a computer, and I asked her if she would make my payment for me. And she said, yeah, when she got done what she was doing. And so I was sitting on the couch watching TV, so I said, I'll be up in a few minutes and I'll give you the money. So I watched TV and I went upstairs and gave her the $100. And I don't know exactly what she verbatim, but she had paid it off, my whole entire balance that I owed the IRS. I never asked her to, I never begged her to, I never even brought it up.
Good. So you had the $100 in your hand.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do with the $100?
I gave her the $100.
Did she take it?
I believe so.
Oh, so she paid the $21.97 to the IRS, and you gave her $100, which she accepted because you were paying her instead of paying the IRS.
Right, for my $100 payments.
Right. Keep going.
After I gave her the $100, I assumed that she made a $100 payment, just like she had done for me before.
Right.
And then turned around and she had paid it off.
So?
I never asked her to, I never...
No. And what happened the next month? Did you give her $100 next month?
No, ma'am.
Did she ask you for it?
That month, I believe I had moved out by that time.
Oh, did you try to give her the $100?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because I didn't.
You gave her the $100 the month before when she had paid off the whole thing, and she took it?
I gave her the $100 before I knew that she had paid off
Yeah,
it
but
off in
sir,
full.
then you understood because she accepted the $100 that instead of her going on her computer every month to pay the IRS, she paid it off, and you would pay her back the $100 a month.
No, ma'am. I paid her $100, assuming that she was making the $100 payment for me.
But she accepted it. Didn't you hear me?
Yes. But I had made the payment after the fact she had told me she had paid it off. If I asked her to pay it off, why would I set the payment plan with her when I already had it with the IRS? You understand what I'm saying?
Mr. Lloyd.
Yes, ma'am.
Who screwed up with the IRS?
Most of the people at the IRS.
No. Who screwed up with the people at the IRS? I'm talking to you. Who screwed up with the IRS? Say, I did, Your Honor.
As far as making these payments?
Who screwed up with the IRS? And
I did, Your Honor.
That's right. And who owed the IRS money?
I did at the time.
And who was it that spent the money that they didn't pay in taxes that they should have? Who would that be?
That would be me.
Pay your own taxes.
Yes, ma'am.
You do a crime, you pay your own penalty. You owe the IRS money. There are certain things that are positive in this life, sir. One is death.
And taxes.
And taxes. Everybody has to pay them. What kind of pain is there if somebody else pays your taxes? Do not answer me, sir. If you get away without paying your taxes, sir, by saying, well, she paid it off, so I don't have to pay the IRS back $100 a month until they're all paid off, what lesson does that teach you? What lesson does that teach you?
That you shouldn't let nobody else try to do a favor for you and pay your own bills. I never asked her to do this.
Are you paying careful attention to me, Mr.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Lloyd? You don't ask somebody to do your prison time for you, and you don't ask somebody else to pay your taxes for you. And if they do so because you had a payment plan with the IRS, and somebody says, look, I'm going to be a nice person, instead of us going through this drill every month, you give me the $100, which she took, clearly, when she paid off the whole bill, in anticipation of every month you paying her $100. Instead, you moved out. You owe $2,097 because you paid the $100. Goodbye. Listen to me. Watch better next time.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Gilbert Manigault is suing his neighbor, Thomas Linder, for medical bills. Gilbert claims Thomas's son, 16-year-old Thomas Jr., shot him in the leg with a BB gun.
What were you doing with a BB gun?
I was in my backyard shooting targets.
What kind of targets?
Cans.
How big is your backyard?
Pretty big.
Your Honor, the target.
How big?
About the size of this room.
That's not so big. It's a little backyard. How old are you?
16.
Who bought you the BB gun?
My father.
Does your father have other guns in the house? Oh, it's not an answer. Does your father have other guns in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of guns does your father have in the house?
BB gun.
Where does your father use his BB gun?
He doesn't. He has a lock on it.
Why?
Safety.
Who else lives in your house?
Just me and my father.
Well, what is he trying to be safe from?
I don't know, ma'am.
What are you trying to be safe from, sir?
In case of accidents. I mean...
Right. What kind of accidents might you have been referring to, Mr. Linder?
In case, you know, somebody gets hurt, badly hurt or something.
All right, so now, I've had enough joy. Now let's get down to business. Mr. Manigault, according to your complaint, this young man was outside fooling around, shooting off his BB gun. You came outside, he shot you in the leg.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to be compensated.
Yes, ma'am.
You had some medical bills?
Yes, ma'am. I also have pictures of my injuries.
I'd like to see them. How long have the two of you been neighbors?
About 1.5 years.
All right. I'm listening.
Well, my son was in the backyard playing with his BB gun.
That's what he said, and he shot Mr. Manigault.
Right. And at the same time, what you don't seem to realize, Your Honor, is Gilbert also had a BB gun, and he was also playing with TJ earlier in the day. So he knew that my son was out there playing in the yard. And what he did was, after he got done in the yard, he went around to the front of the house. You'd have to ask my son, because he was there. I was in the house. I wasn't there when Gil was...
Fine, then I'm going to ask him. You were playing with Mr. Manigault earlier in the day?
We were shooting BB guns and shooting the targets, the cans. And on the left side of my house, there was
Just a second. When were you out with Mr. Manigault shooting BB guns?
That day.
Your Honor, no.
What time?
Afternoon.
What time?
1 o'clock, around?
Are you guessing?
Kind of, yeah, because...
I don't want you to guess.
Yeah, about 1 o'clock.
Fine. And what time did you finish playing with Mr. Manigault?
About 2 o'clock.
Your Honor...
Shh.
Okay.
And then what happened?
I was in the backyard. On the left of my house, there's kids...
So Mr. Manigault left?
No, we were playing. We were out in the backyard. We were shooting towards the cans. And the reason why we were shooting that way is because on the left of my house, there was kids in the backyard. Behind me, there was kids in the backyard. And on the right, there were dogs. And the only place that there wasn't any people or dogs was right there where I was shooting the cans.
And? Keep going.
He went around the house. I had thought he went inside.
He went around the house, so he left.
He went to the front, yes.
So he left.
Yes.
And?
I had thought he went in the house, and I was shooting the cans. And he jumped out and went, hey, like trying to scare me. And he knew I was shooting the cans, and he knew which way we were shooting them.
Your father believes this story? Go ahead, Mr. Manigault.
Your Honor, that's not the way it went. January 22nd, 07, I was in my house, and I was actually laying on my couch watching this show. I was. So I'm watching this show, and I kept hearing this pinging noise on my air conditioner that's in back of my couch in my living room. So I got up and I went outside to see what it was. I didn't see anybody in the front. I went around the side. We had no playtime, me and him. I'm a grown man. Why would I want to play with a kid?
Because it's a good story for him to tell his father.
Okay, so anyway, I went around the corner of the house. There's a 3-foot-high fence between him and I. He was out there with his girlfriend shooting a gun at my air conditioner. I told him, why are you doing that?
My girlfriend was out there with me.
Listen to me, sir. Your father may believe this baloney story that you told him. Don't you know that I can tell when people lie when they're telling the truth? Hairs on the back of my neck go up when somebody's telling me a lie. That's why they keep me here. There's nobody that can tell a lie in front of me that I can't spot.
Ma'am, I had a witness, but she couldn't come because she had school this
Oh,
week.
and if my parents were taller, I would have been taller and happier, too. You shot him in the leg. That's your fault.
He jumped out trying to scare me, ma'am.
Your Honor, no.
Listen to me.
Your Honor, if I may speak, if you look at the pictures here, you can see the condition of where he was shooting, the target he was shooting at.
The pictures have nothing to do with it.
Where the gentleman
Mr. Linda,
lives.
you weren't home.
I was
And
home. Your Honor, I was home.
in the
I
house.
was in the house. My window is right where he was standing.
An idiot. Put your hand on these 5 children, and I wouldn't give any of my 16-year-old idiots a BB gun. I don't even like them to play with water guns. Put your hand down. Are you losing, Mr. Manigault?
No, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Manigault, do you have a BB gun?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you have children in your house?
No, I don't.
Did you ever shoot your BB gun with Mr. Linda?
No.
Just a second. Remember what I said about those hairs on the back of my head? Remember?
I understand.
Did you ever shoot your BB gun with Mr. Linda Jr.?
No, Your Honor, I shot his gun.
With him there?
Yes.
Fine. So you had, for want of another word, played with him together.
I don't know if you can call it play, but...
Whatever. I don't know why you would keep a BB gun in the house. Who is this?
That's my witness. That's my girlfriend.
That's your girlfriend. You
Yeah.
don't shoot her in the house, do you?
No.
So
I don't... Your Honor, I bought that gun several years ago, and I've never used it.
Why don't you get rid of it?
I just keep it for protection, just in case of a burglar or something like that. You know, a stray dog, maybe, that's trying to bite people in the neighborhood or something like that. Your Honor, I'm a grown man. I don't walk around with a BB gun. Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense for a grown man to have one. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,176. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
24-year-old Carl Anderson is suing 21-year-old Taryn Gluck and her father, Alan, for the cost to fix damage to his car. Carl claims Taryn dinged his door while pulling into a parking space.
All rise. It's case number 104 on the calendar in the matter of Anderson versus Gluck.
How old are you?
21.
Sit down. No.
Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you.
Have a seat, sir.
Mr. Anderson, you claim that the defendant damaged your car.
Yes, ma'am.
You wanted to pay for the damage. I don't know what her answer is. She sort of says, I didn't do anything wrong, and I let my father take care of it. Okay, Mr. Anderson, why don't you tell me when this happened and tell me what happened?
Okay. It was March 3rd, 2006. It was a Friday, and rent was due. That's my roommate, Sean. So we both drove to the bank to get our halves of the rent to pay the rent. So I drove my car, I parked and went inside. Sean, he drove his car through the drive-thru and got his money. So I went inside, got my half of the rent. I'm walking to my car, and as I approached my driver's side door, Taryn pulled into the parking spot on my passenger side. She pulled in and parked her car. So I know she seen me standing there.
Don't tell me what you know she saw.
Okay.
Just tell me what happened. You're standing outside your car on the driver's side.
Yes, ma'am.
She pulled in on the passenger side. What kind of car was she driving?
A Jeep Cherokee.
What kind of car?
2002 Hyundai Elantra.
So her car is much bigger than yours.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what happened next?
So she pulled in to the parking spot next to mine, and by then I had got in my car, closed my door, and I was counting my half of the rent. So I'm in my car, she opens her car door, and then boom, she hits my passenger side. So when it happened, I was kind of in shock.
Now, when she opened the car door, you must have turned around when you heard this.
Yes.
What did you see when you turned around?
Well, after it hit, she hopped out of her car real fast. She hurried up and closed the door. Then she hurried up and started walking real fast into the bank.
Have pictures of your car?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please.
Mind you, I wash my car. I keep up with the maintenance of my car regularly, so I know what scratches are on my car and what scratches aren't on my car. So I waited. Mind you, I just left from it.
So these are the scratches you're talking about, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
The two?
Yes.
1, 2?
Yes.
Not any other scratches on the car?
Nah, just those two.
Just those two?
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
So mind you, I had just left from inside the bank. It was empty. So I'm sitting there waiting for her to come out. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. So I'm thinking in my head, oh, she's probably trying to wait for me to leave to avoid the situation. So I'm sitting there waiting. She finally comes out. She's walking straight. She's not even looking in my direction. She's walking to her car, and she was about to put her car keys in her car, and I had to stop her. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And she was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "You know you hit my car with your car door when you first pulled up." And she was like, "Oh, I did?" So when she said that, I already knew what type of integrity she had. When she tried to deny it, well, she didn't really deny it, but she was like, "Oh, I did?" And I was like, "Yeah, you hit it." She was like, "So what do you want to do?" I was like, "Well, we need to exchange information." So she said, "Hold on." She got in her car and closed the door. So I'm thinking, oh, she might be trying to pull off. So I got behind her car, and I wrote down her tag number. So about a minute passed, and she opened the car door crying, boo-hoo crying. My dad wants to talk to you. So she put me on the phone with her dad, Mr. Alan Gulek. So I got on the phone with him. So he introduced himself. He was real polite. He introduced himself. He asked me what happened. I told him exactly what happened. Then he said, are you sure she did it? And I said, "Sir, I'm positive," because I was sitting inside my car when it happened. He was like, "Okay, well, this is what I want to do." He was like, "I don't want to have to go through my insurance company. I'm a lawyer down in Miami. I'll go ahead and take care of everything for you. Just go ahead and get an estimate and fax it to me, and I'll take care of everything."
Okay, and did you get an estimate, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the estimate that you faxed to?
Estimate that I faxed, $497.76.
Can I see it, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Because Mr. Gluick says you faxed him an estimate for $277.
No, the story, because after that, after I faxed him that estimate, I didn't hear from him. Like, months had passed, and I still didn't hear from him. So one day I was on campus. I went through the campus directory. I got her phone number. I called her. I was like, "Hey, my name's Carl. Do you remember me?" She's like, "Yeah, I remember you." I was like, "Did you talk to your dad?"
Just a second. Did you ever fax him an estimate for $277?
No, I had called him and told him I got a cheaper estimate. Because
okay, so you told him you got a cheaper estimate for $277.
Yeah.
Ah, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. And you never got paid?
No.
Good. Go ahead.
I pulled into the bank. It was raining, so I got out of my car, walked into the bank.
Just a second. You got out of the car, and when you get out of the car, do you open this heavy door to the Jeep Cherokee with your hand or with your foot?
With my hand.
No, that's not what you do. You open the door and you give it a little shove with your foot so that it opens easy. That's what you do. That's what you did.
I didn't open it with my foot.
No, you opened it with your hand.
Right.
And then you push it with your foot because it's hard for you because a Jeep Cherokee is a high car. How tall are you?
5'4".
So that you have to hop down.
I stepped down.
Yeah. Right. Been there. Question to you is, you dinged his car. That's what you did. There's no question in my mind you dinged his car. You've probably dinged a lot of people's cars. My question to you is, why is someone who's 21 years old, who's old enough to be in possession of a big car, a big weapon, if you don't use it right, why does somebody like you call their daddy?
I wasn't sure what information I should give him, if we should call the cops or not. So I wanted
He
some
asked
advice.
you for your insurance information.
He said, can I have your information?
Okay, and what did you think he meant?
My
What
phone
did you
number,
think he meant?
some
Your
way to
height,
get in
your
touch
weight,
with
your
me?
color, your eye color?
Some way to get in touch with me?
Then you shouldn't be driving a car. If you thought he wanted some way to get in touch with you, then you shouldn't be driving a car.
I thought the cops should have been called then if he wanted my insurance information.
So, fine. You went into your car and you called your father.
Yes, ma'am.
Did your father say call the police?
No, that's why I didn't.
Well, what did your father say to you?
He said, give him your information.
And what information did he say to give him?
I gave him both of our phone numbers and our names.
That's not the information he needs. He needs your insurance information. Did your father say give him your insurance card?
No, ma'am.
Well, he should have. That's what it means when you exchange information. Right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can stand up.
Thank you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Carl Anderson says fellow motorist Taryn Gluck owes for dinging his car door in a bank parking lot. Taryn denies causing any damage.
Okay. Why didn't you tell your daughter to call the police? She had been involved in an accident.
Well, number one, in the state of Florida, you're only required to call the police when there's personal injury damage, which there was not, and that was the first thing I ascertained.
Perfect. Having ascertained that, when your daughter said he wants my information, that includes your insurance information. You know that. You're a lawyer.
Yes.
Well, it would seem to me that along with your name and number, he should have had your insurance information, unless you said to him, send me an estimate and I'll take care of it. Is that what you said to him, sir? Look at me. Don't look over there.
I didn't say it in those words, no.
I don't care whether you said it in those words, sir. It's either, here's my insurance information, take it up with my insurance company, or fax me an estimate and I'll take care of it.
I said, send me some paperwork, send me some information, and we'll take care of it. That was
Fine,
exactly
then you
what I said.
pay for it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's clear to me that these two dings are what was caused by the car door hitting your car and being irresponsible enough not even to get out and look at it and say, I hit one door against another. At least let me look at it and see if I caused any damage.
I looked at it.
No, you didn't. When you hit his car, you left as soon as you could. When he called you on it, when you came back, then you looked at his car.
Correct.
But when you did it, you didn't look at his car. You hightailed it out of there as soon as you could. Wrong thing to do. You got to act responsibly. You look like a nice girl. You're big enough to drive a car. You have to do the right thing when you drive a car. And you're supposed to be careful when you get out and not use your foot. You know, they call that the Florida foot. I live in Florida. I know the Florida foot. The way women get out of a car. Unfortunately, it's mostly the women. They get out, and older men. They get out of the car, they open the car door, and they go, boom! So it opens the door easily so that they can get themselves out of the car. That's what you did. Okay, you owe him $277, and it wasn't the right thing to blow him off and to not keep in contact with him. You neither, sir. Wrong thing to do. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you, that's all.
Marcus Watson claims former friend Ryan Brooks vandalized his car after a fight at a party. Ryan is countersuing, claiming Marcus assaulted him.
Mr. Watson, the defendant was your best friend for a long time, according to your complaint and according to his answer. Came a time when there was an argument between the defendant and your sister?
Yes.
Was it some sort of a party?
Yes, it was
His
her
sister
birthday.
was giving him a hard time because, according to him, he had invited a friend without asking permission. So they were going at it, and you got involved.
Right, yes.
And it got a little physical.
Yes.
And if I'm piecing this together, you put your hands on him.
Well, actually, I pushed him to move him back.
You pushed him. You put your hands on him.
Okay, yes.
And whatever happened next, it is your claim that when he left the house, which he
Yes.
did, he scratched your car.
Yes.
This part of it is easy because Mr. Brooks says he was so angry that you put your hands on him that he did vandalize your car. Right?
Yes.
But Mr. Brooks has a counterclaim is that you came looking for him and assaulted him.
That's not true.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because I've read your complaint and I've read his answer.
Okay.
So let's start with what the fight was about, Mr. Brooks.
The fight was about that the person I brought was his best friend. They were into it at a long time ago.
They were what?
They were fighting, they were arguing a long time ago with his best friend, but...
Whatever. That's what the fight was about?
Mm-hmm.
That you brought somebody that they didn't want?
Yes.
And who had that conversation with you?
The plaintiff's sister.
Is that you?
Yes.
Stand up. What's your last name?
Love.
What was the date of this party?
February 3rd.
Wasn't it your house?
No.
So tell me about the conversation you had with Mr. Brooks.
The conversation I had with Mr. Brooks was he invited people to the house that was actually enemies of whose house I was at. And I stood calm that whole night because I'm there to enjoy my birthday. And in fact, my daughter was also there. So I didn't need any conflict or anything. So I waited. And what actually came about to have the argument between me and him that became physical was an incident happened where one of our friends have misplaced their keys, and he's making statements and gestures to other people that were there that someone was looking attractive or whatever, and actually whose house we were at, they came into the room where I was at.
Please, this is getting much too complicated, Miss Love. You left things go for the whole night.
Right.
And everything was fine. And then at some point, you approached him.
Correct.
And that's after you had had something to drink.
No.
Are you telling me you were celebrating your birthday and you hadn't had anything to drink? Is that
yes,
what
I am.
You telling me
my
that?
daughter was there, so I didn't have anything to drink.
How
Why would I
much?
drink and my daughter was there? She's an infant.
Who else was there?
My brother.
And who else?
The rest of our friends.
Don't necessarily believe you. So you waited until the evening was dying down, and then something bothered you, so you went over to him, and what did you say to him?
I just asked him, why does it seem that you were trying to start a fight the whole night? Because he started fights with other people that were in the house, which the police were called to the residence earlier over something else that he started. So I just asked him, you know, why did you feel that you need to start a fight? This is my birthday. I'm here to enjoy my day.
And what did he say to you?
He had an attitude. He was drunk.
No, that's not what I asked you. I said, what did he say?
He really had nothing to respond to me.
So he didn't answer you?
No.
And what did you do?
Oh, well, I saw there was going to become an argument, so
well,
I just walked off.
How could it become an argument
because
if he's not
it
responding?
was a lot of gestures going on. It was hand
Show me
movements.
the gestures. Show me the gestures.
Okay, I walked up to him and I said, why does it seem like you're trying to start a fight with everyone in this house? He was like, well,
so
at that point when you're doing that and you're rolling your eyes, I'm done with the conversation. I'm not going to argue with you.
So you walked away?
Yes, I did.
And then what happened?
I went back in the room where my daughter was to finish putting on her coat, because at this time we were getting ready to go.
You walked out of the room, and?
I went in the room where my daughter was.
And?
I went to put her clothes on. He came behind me.
And?
Doing all of this, like he wanted to start a fight. So I stepped out of the room, because I'm like, no, we're not going to argue.
Go ahead. So
or
he's
get
moving
heated.
his finger like this.
Yes.
Right, and you moved out of the room.
And he's jumping in my face, so I come out the room, and I'm pretty much like, do you really want to start this? Do you really want to make this about a fight? And pretty much he went to swing at me, which he missed, and then he pulled out a knife, so that's when my brother came into the play. That's when he pushed him out the way.
No.
Of course not. Of course not. It's not what happened. He went to swing at you?
Right.
Nah, not what happened. What happened?
She was right about the gestures and whatnot. I was drunk, but she came at me like she wanted to hit me. But instead of me hitting her, she kind of swung at me but missed me. And I was going to swing back, but the plaintiff and his two best friends, they jumped on me from the side. I'm all on the ground. I pulled out my knife for protection. They come at me again and start swinging at me, so I dropped my knife. And they told me to leave. And I left the apartment.
And nobody was hurt?
I was hurt.
She wasn't hurt?
No.
He wasn't hurt?
No.
And you went outside, and what did you do to their car?
I scratched his car.
Do you have an estimate for the scratching on your car?
Yep, they're right here.
Like, take a look at it. With glass. Okay. So now you're outside. You vandalized his car. Go.
All right, so after he vandalized my car.
And you saw him do that?
Yes, I looked out the window because since we were still friends, I looked out the window because he was waiting on the ride to pick him up. So I'm putting on my clothes or whatever. I want to approach him. By this time, I got my clothes on, ready to leave the house. He was gone. On my way home, to drive home, I had to circle around. I saw him. He was in front of, I'm not sure the name of the restaurant. I pulled over, and he was still drunk.
Who were you with?
My sister.
You were with your sister and the baby that she's trying to protect.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I get out the car. So I see he has a beer bottle in his hand.
Why don't you get back into the car?
Because I wanted to talk to him about my truck.
Why? If you know he's drunk, and if you just saw him commit a crime, why in the world would you stop your car with your sister and the baby in the car instead of just taking her home, calling the police, say, I just saw him vandalize my truck?
Because I didn't want to involve the police because he was my friend.
Then why didn't you let it go until the next day?
I could have,
when he was
but
sober.
It was on my chest, and I wanted
because
to tell
you
him.
wanted to get it off your chest.
I wanted to talk to him.
Because you wanted to get it off your chest. You wanted to get it off your chest with somebody who you know is drunk, who had already left the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was in harm's way anymore.
Okay.
Except when you stopped the truck and got out. And you saw a beer bottle in his hand. So what did you have in your hand?
After I saw the beer bottle,
What did you have in your hand?
What do you call that? A lug wrench is what I had. But he didn't know I had it at all.
You had a lug wrench in your hand.
No, actually it was in my pocket. Let's make it correct.
Now, you're driving along, you see him in a restaurant.
He was outside at that time.
Outside the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You stop the truck. When do you see the bottle in his hand?
When I stopped the truck.
When did you get the lug wrench?
After I saw the bottle.
Where did you have to go to get it?
My trunk.
Back or front?
The back.
So you had to get out of your truck, go in the back, get the weapon, and then go out to talk to him, right?
Yes.
Now tell me what happened, Mr. Brooks.
Actually, I wasn't walking around. I was in the restaurant on the phone with my best friend that was switching phone calls between me and the plaintiff. He called me and let me know that the plaintiff was looking for me. I was sitting in the restaurant waiting for a ride to come and get me because I'm hurt. And the plaintiff comes inside the restaurant while I'm sitting down and hits me in the head. And it wasn't a lung wrench. I think it was a tire crowbar, a tire gauge, and it wasn't small. It's big. I have a picture of it.
I'd like to see it.
It's a lug wrench.
Where did you get this picture from?
At the end of the incident, the police did not want to arrest nobody. They took the whole situation, so they gave that to my best friend.
Do you have a police report?
No.
Do you have a police report?
No.
Did you have any medical treatment?
I went home. My aunt, who was a certified nurse, cleaned me up. And
Did you take any photographs of what you looked
No.
like? Why not?
because I just wanted to go home. I was messed up, and I just wanted to go home, lay down.
So what did you do when you finally confronted him, Mr. Watson?
I came to confront him while he had this beer bottle in his hand. It was outside. We went inside the restaurant. I tried to talk to him. He was swinging the beer bottle at my head. He swung it maybe about 2 or 3 times. The last time he swung it, launched it, and it fell on the ground and shattered. At that point in time, that's when I ran up.
Ran up what?
I ran up on him.
And what'd you do?
I hit him.
Yeah, you hurt him. With a weapon that you secured to do just that.
I didn't want to hurt him. The thing was, I had that for my protection.
No, no, no. Your protection was your car that should have kept running and kept going until you dropped your sister and the baby off. So you take care of your own car, Mr. Watson.
For what?
For what?
Because
I'm awarding him on his assault charge the exact same amount as he would have paid you to fix your car. That's why. He's got a counterclaim for assault. Do you understand?
I understand that, but he vandalized my vehicle.
That's absolutely right. And you assaulted him with a tire iron.
Wait a minute. Because he vandalized my car before the fact of that happened.
Oh, absolutely right.
So if
he absolutely did. And you would have absolutely been successful in securing a new paint job on your car, without question, if you hadn't assaulted him because you were angry. She started all of it. She really started all of it. And if you think that I believe that she didn't have anything to drink that night, you're mistaken. She started it because everything was sort of cool. All she had to do was go home. She confronted him.
Okay.
With an attitude, because you and I both know this is your sister. She does have attitude. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
So you take care of your own car, sir, because the exact same amount that I would have awarded you on your complaint, I'm awarding him on his counterclaim. Because you know you had no right to vandalize his car, correct?
Correct.
Goodbye. I leave you both where I found you.